Everyone wants success. Everyone wants results, but very few people want the process. Today we're breaking down Proverbs 21:5 and why there are no shortcuts to God's blessings. Because scripture makes it clear, good planning and hard work lead somewhere very different than rushing and cutting corners. Welcome to One Verse at a Time, a show where we slow down and zoom in on one scripture or a group of related verses so we can better understand the meaning and context. Today we're looking at Proverbs 21:5. Let's read it now. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. The theme of today's episode is simple. There are no shortcuts to God's blessings. One thing we have to understand is that God expects us to work. Christianity is not about sitting around, waiting, and hoping for God to move in our lives. We are partners with God. Hebrews 6:10 tells us that God is not unjust. He will not forget our work and the love we show him. And James 2:17 says that faith without works is dead. So yes, we trust God, but we also move, act, build, and plan. Without a plan, we're just wandering aimlessly, waiting for life to happen instead of us stepping into the life that God has called us to live. God has his role, but we have ours too. We were made in God's image, and since he is the creator, we are called to create as well. He's given each of us talents, abilities, and opportunities to work in our own corner of the world. And over time, as we're faithful, he blesses the things that we cannot accomplish on our own. But Proverbs gives us a warning. It says that hasty shortcuts leads to poverty. In other words, rushing, cutting corners, and trying to skip the process will cost you. And we see this all the time. People get tired of waiting. They get impatient. Sometimes even prideful or entitled. They think, I've waited long enough. So they try to take matters into their own hands. But that's a dangerous place to be, because none of us can override God. If you try to force something before it's time, if you take shortcuts to get somewhere faster than God is preparing you to go, it will eventually catch up to you. And often, it leaves people feeling empty. Let's look at one example. Money. People often say that money is the root of all evil. But in the Bible, in 1 Timothy 6:10, it actually says that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Money itself isn't the problem. But when we put our trust in money instead of God, it becomes dangerous. Because money can disappear. Success can disappear. Fame can disappear. And we've all seen that happen. People rise quickly and fall just as fast. Hello, have we all not heard of cancel culture? Why does this happen? Well, because they built something without the foundation that God requires. We were all created to rely on God. Philippians 4:19 says that God will supply all of our needs according to his riches and glory. And in James 4:10 it says that if we humble ourselves before the Lord, he will lift us up. It's not our job to elevate ourselves, but it is our job to be faithful. And if we're honest, it's hard because our nature is fallen. We want things fast. We want control. We think we know better, but the truth is, we don't. And I actually find this fascinating because I can think of areas in my own life where I've wanted to take control and move in my own pacing instead of waiting patiently for God to act. And spoiler alert, it doesn't work. And that's why having a relationship with God is essential, because he created us. He knows the timing, it's divine, and he knows what we can handle and what we can't. He knows what's best for our lives. We don't. So the question becomes, will we trust him? Will we be patient? Will we do the work? Proverbs 21:5 makes it clear. Planning and hard work lead to life. Shortcuts lead to loss. If we stay faithful and disciplined and aligned with God, then the results will come in at the right time. And when they do, they will last. That's all I have for you today. If this spoke to you, let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep growing spiritually, let's continue uncovering God's truth together. One verse at a time. I'll see you next week.